Hello and welcome to the latest from Hearts Standard. My name is Joe Sked and I am joined by Craig Cairns. Craig, how's it going?
I'm very well, Joel. How are you? How are you? Where are you?
I am I am trying to hide from being under a light in Starbucks in the city centre of Baku, very sweaty, which I'll come on to explain issues surrounding that later on. Um, with regards to my hotel and my need to use Barry Anderson's hotel later on today. But we are here before we talk about Baku and maybe we'll start looking ahead to Dinamo Minsk game on Thursday night. We will look back at the Ross County game from the weekend. We were both there. You were there in a professional capacity. I was there hospitality with pals. But before we do that, we got a message from our sponsorship, which are Good Vibes Giveaways. Are proud to sponsor Heart Standard and offer fantastic prizes to fans of the club. Prizes change weekly and include tech and gadgets, days out, weekends away, tax-free cash, and even Oasis tickets. You can get your tickets now at www.goodvibesgiveaways.com and enter for the chance to spread good vibes. Sunglasses emoji. So, with the housekeeping out the way, what were your general thoughts from the game on Saturday?
I should probably just say to begin with, my screen just went blank and had a buffer screen for a wee minute there, and there was a delay when we first came on before we went live, which doesn't seem to be there now. So just to give the viewers and the listeners a head up that there may be a few tech issues as we do this cross-continental link. I was there, yes, and it was one of those ones where there was a reaction. There were more positives there than there had been in previous weeks, but going into the final half hour, it just felt like the same old story, regardless of that. And I was a bit surprised when we scored. Because I just didn't see it coming. I had. It was sod's law that the first time I was covering for you since I've started this job, and slightly rusty that I had a last minute rewrite. But I just didn't see it coming because of what we've seen already this season. So I was pleasantly surprised that we managed to get the equaliser. And then I suppose that then allows you to put a bit more of a positive spin on the 90 minutes, which I know that some fans just aren't buying, just won't swallow whatsoever. There's some people that just are going to see this as a continuation. But I mean, what else can Liam Fox do after a couple of days on the training? I mean, we should still win the game. Let's not beat around the bush there, but we should still be winning the game at home to Ross County, regardless of the run that we're on. But in terms of the job that Liam Fox has done, I think he did pretty much all he could do up until the cliche they stepped over that white line, because the chances were there. We didn't take them, and if that Devlin chance right at the start, that's got to be a goal. And if that's a goal, then we're maybe talking about our first win of the season right now.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll come on to talk about, because I was going to talk about my general thoughts about the positives and negatives of it, but I suppose we'll come on to them in more detail later on. What did you make of the starting 11? So there was a few kind of eyebrows raised. Adam Forrester got his first start. Musa wasn't in the squad. Malachi Boateng wasn't in the squad. Salazar wasn't in the squad. Stephen Kingsley played at left back, so James Penrith was on the bench. So what did you make of the starting 11? Because neither of us, I don't think either of us got close to predicting the starting 11 or saw just the manner of changes and who was left out coming.
Yeah, I was fairly pleased with my effort. Got like the front three right, but I think that there were some that I kind of like. Boateng dropping it, I suppose it looks a little curious that he's dropped out altogether, but I don't think it's that big a deal, really. I think home Ross County, you only need one of him and Beringame, and Devlin started the game as well. I don't know if there was something in all the new signings not starting, the summer signings. I don't know if that was some kind of statement or whether it was just a quirk of the team that he happened to pick. I was a bit surprised at Penrice dropping out. Could be just too much football. It could have, I don't know, there could be a reason for it. There could be a reason that we're not aware of. That sometimes does happen. If it was purely on form or ability, then I find that a wee bit disappointing, because I think he's been really good this season, and I think he would have been good in that team. I think he would have helped us be more positive in the Ross County half. And other than that, I mean, I thought he would have went 4-2-3-1. I was a wee bit surprised with 4-3-3, but I liked it. And again, I think it worked. I think what he tried to do worked. I just think that the players didn't quite execute it on the day. So I was going to carry on, but on you go.
No, I was just nodding. I was agreeing with you. But yeah, I looked at surely you look at the 11, good enough to beat Ross County. The chances were there, and I suppose if you want to stick on the positives, for me were the number of chances we created. I think we both spoke about it in articles over the weekend. Was the number of good chances that Hearts created for the first time, like the expected goals, just in terms of the league games this season. It was, I think you put it up, it was almost there was almost more created against Ross County than there was against every other team combined in the league, and that was really encouraging. But there was still that element of, it was the same old story where started well, created a couple of good chances, didn't take them, and then it's just, as the game gets on, there's that vulnerability, there's that inevitability that we thought was just going to peter out. Yes, admittedly, I left hospitality, being a few mates left early to go to the pub. I watched it the rest of the game in the pub before returning to hospitality, and there was just there was a surprise that we did score, but then, like, being in the pub when we did score, there wasn't a massive outpouring of relief or anything. Mm-hmm. People, because yes, it was good not to lose, but drawing still wasn't good enough.
Yeah, definitely not. No, it's definitely not. And given that it's the last game before we go into this schedule, and the first game after the first European game, which I don't mean this free hit in the purest sense of the form, but in a sense, it's a sort of free hit. I think that it'd be good to get the monkey off our back on Thursday, yes, but I don't think it's the one against Aberdeen's more important. It's more important to get wins in the league right now, and it's about as tough a game as we could pick for after it. So, given that the games that we've got coming up, yes, it was. We were in a bit more desperate territory for needing a win. But hopefully, and I realise that I'm clutching at straws here, and I have been for weeks, but there are times where you're leading for a whole game and you lose in the last couple of minutes and it feels like a defeat. And conversely, you can take momentum. It's not that this feels like a win, but you can still use that good feeling to end the game and that momentum. You didn't feel it in the pub, but there definitely was a bit of it in the stadium, and there definitely was on the pitch, especially from Lauren Shankland. So I and as I say, I do realise I'm clutching at straws here, but we can potentially take that momentum or feed into the kind of the positive feeling from the end of that game.
Yeah, and I should clarify that probably the reason there wasn't such outpouring relief in the pub is because the stream was about 3 minutes behind, so everyone knew that Shankland was going. Right, okay. So it was a big anytime going forward. But yeah, I absolutely just the fact that he's also just like the fact that he's got off the mark. And again, the good thing was that he was having chances created for him. He had the great chance in the first half. He put a header wide last season. He scores that. He obviously hit the bar, so he could have had a hat trick. A couple of chances felt with Devlin. Yeah. A couple of chances felt with Devlin, which you're probably you're wanting him to add goals to his game, but at the same time, sorry,
he's not going to get a better chance.
You want to add goals. No, absolutely not. I'd have to say that was a really good. I think it was a cracking block by the county defender. But again, you should score that. They had a chance a wee bit later on. You should score that, and that's where I want Devlin. It's on one hand, you're like you'd rather that those chances fall to someone else, but at the same time, you're wanting Cammy Devlin to start scoring those chances.
Or someone else.
If he's looking. Yeah.
Or someone other than Shanklin. Sorry.
Exactly. It's someone. Yeah, but I'm just saying someone needs to step up, and that's where like Devlin. That's the next part of his game. He's got to add that to his game, especially if he's looking to take his game on to another level, which he's talked about since signing a new deal. He needs to start scoring those goals. But I mean, again, clutching this while we're clutching at straws, him getting into those areas is a positive. For getting on the end of chances is a positive. So yeah, it was. The positive is you're ending the losing run. The fact that you're coming from behind as well is important. You're continuing to go to the last minute, which is again a good sign that there's a wee bit of attitude there, a wee bit of belief there. But like you said, and we talked about it on Friday. Hearts need to start winning games, and fans are not wanting to hear about positives coming from a draw at home to Ross County, but that's the situation Hearts are in, where we're having to look at positives, because the season has been the worst ever season in the club's history, which should continue being repeated until the team get themselves back onto winning ways. So on the negative side, still not won a game. I wasn't overly. I don't think the style of play didn't excite me or energize me. I don't know what about yourself, how you viewed it from your position, and whether there was any players within the game. There was a couple to me that really didn't stood out, really didn't have an impact.
Yeah, one of the things I was surprised to see Grant in the team. I thought we would have seen a number 10, and I was a bit disappointed with his contribution, not least for giving the ball away for the goal, because the way we chose to play was to be risky. Grant and Devlin were trying to get into spaces, like get on the end of Shanklin Lincoln. I thought Shanklin was doing a good job of dropping to link and being on the end of chances. We've not seen that for a little while, because when he's not scoring, he gets criticised for doing the other thing when he's really good at that. And when he's on his game, he's good at doing both. And when he's really on his game, he does both himself pretty much. But yeah, I thought they were trying to link with him and then attack the spaces that were sort of being created with our wingers stretching the back three. I thought it worked largely. Well, Devlin got into goal scoring chances. I'm not sure Grant really did. He set up Forrest at one point, but I'm sure it was a mishit corner. It went straight to Forrest's feet, but it did not look like that's what he was trying to do, unless he just was completely selling it and changed at the last second. It looked like he fluffed the kick. I don't know if you saw that one, or you know what I'm talking about. Other than that, I thought
so. You're jumping in. I forgot to mention Benny. I thought he was superb, best player on the pitch. When we're talking about positives, and I think since him coming back has really shown how important he is, and why the club are so, Naismith was so keen to keep him here last season, and why it was such a good move to keep him here. When he's on his game, what he does is brilliant, both in possession and out of possession. We see how important he was breaking up play. But on the flip side, really, someone like Kenneth Vargas is just having had a lot of promise early on in the season without really delivering productivity. That productivity is still not there, but then he's not having as much of an impact on games anymore. The fact that he's still taken off before the hour mark as well said a lot.
And he got booked for reacting again. So that's 3 bookings I think he's had this season. 2 of them have been reacting to tackles, and this one was dissent for a decision that didn't go our way or something along those lines, or something to do with a player wanting treatment and a county player wanting treatment or something. I can't remember. That's where I was going to go. I'm glad you reminded me. I was going to go on to Benny because I was talking about the midfield. But I just went on a rant about George Grant for some reason instead. But we chose to play that way, and we chose to leave Benny exposed. And to be fair, he was brilliant at mopping up. The amount of times he just like got his leg in out of nowhere to nick the ball away. Did it 3 or 4 times before their goal, and he does it for their goal. It's just a bit unfortunate that the ball breaks straight to Ronan Hale, and it's a fantastic finish. But that's the nature of a counter-attack, that anybody can be anywhere. And if you're desperately trying to get your leg into, it can break anywhere. And it's just unfortunate that it broke to him. Sorry, on you go.
Oh, I was just going to say that, in the nature of how the position Hearts are in the moment, and I hate talking about, because it wasn't luck, but it's just these kind of things just go against you, where a boy from Ross County's banging one in the top corner past Craig Gordon. Absolutely stunning strike.
Had they scored for 8 games until last week, and then that's like 2 in 2 weeks, or 2 in 2 games he's scored now or something. Yeah, so had a good League Cup, to be fair. So the guy does look like he can score a goal, but it's just he hits that 10 times, it goes in a couple of times or something. It is quite unfortunate.
What did you make, kind of before we move on to looking ahead to Thursday, what did you make of Adam Forrester's performance?
It was good. I think he was involved right away. If I remember correctly, he was involved. One of the first touches of the ball, he found Shankland, who played it down the right. I think like we won a throw or something like that. Very positive first touch for him, and then he was involved in the 1-2 that eventually led to Devlin's chance. Where it wasn't like silky or anything, but it was just like a wee sort of neat back heel to play a 1-2, and yeah, I thought he started very positively. He and Kingsley. Very similar to how I've only seen the 1B team game, but very similar to how the fullbacks played there, which I was reluctant to call them inverted in my report or in the analysis that I did, because they were doing a bit of both. I think as the game wore on, they were kind of coming in the pitch a bit more, but they were definitely doing a bit of both. And especially in the opening stages, and especially Forrester, he was doing well. And I think he sort of fell out the game a wee bit in the second half. But I think overall, it wasn't like he was a deer in the headlights. He didn't look out of place. So yeah, overall very positive. And it begs the question as to why we've not been giving guys like this a chance before, I suppose, because we're at about as low a point as we could be, and we've thrown in a 19-year-old and he's not looked out of place. So certainly not any worse than Taylor's looked in 80% of the matches he's played in.
Yeah. I thought it was solid in general, pretty solid. And you make a very good point about why he's kind of not been given that opportunity earlier, namely the Dun United game, but also, and he's seen the way the crowd responded. The crowd responded to him certainly early on as well. They were encouraging him. They wanted him to succeed, and then the response to anything positive that he did was more than you would for just for another player. So yeah, I thought it was solid. I don't think he has anything to be down about with his performance. And I imagine there's a good chance that he's going to get more just because of Taylor's injury and this. You talk about opportunity. This could be a really, really good opportunity for him to get a number of games under his belt and make a case for him being within the first team environment beyond January, when there was suggestions that he could go on loan prior to Gerald Taylor's injury. So yeah, I think it was encouraging, a solid display, and it's one that you hope he's going to build on going forward into the rest of the season, and it could. Natural. On you go.
I just wanted to say, because I wonder what this means for Oyukoke then, because that's 2 managers now that have, in the absence of Taylor, one selected a left back ahead of him. He's supposed to be like our other choice there. He played one game at centre back, didn't play there again. Was subbed at half time?
I think so, yeah. He subbed up at Dens, yeah. But he came on against Pilsen at centre back.
And he's like, I mean, he looked okay when he came on against St Mirren at right back as well. I'm not saying the guy's a bad player or anything. I'm just saying, like, that's one manager who's picked a left back, who some people say like he's more of a centre back now, like he doesn't have the attributes to play left back anymore, so we're moving him over to right back. And another manager who's promoted a teenager from the B team instead of playing him. So I don't know what this means for Oyikoke. It's
I think old lady trying to sell me rolls in Starbucks. I don't know what's going on, but I think what we've probably learned that he is, and this is something that Neil McFarlane said when I spoke to him at the start of the season. His best position is a right-sided centre back, so I think that's where. And he's still young as well, so in the future I think he will be a centre back. But yeah, it looks like he's on the outside looking in at the moment, which especially if we're going to play in a back four, there's not much space for him because we've got Kent, Halkett, Kingsley, Rowell. So you can argue he's fifth choice at the moment. Again, people might ask the question about Lewis Nielsen, but that's a longer term question. Suppose we move on to talk about the game on Thursday. We might just with timings over here. We might hop back on Thursday morning potentially, depending on our schedules, just to talk about what happened at the press conference the night before. But just because of the timings, it might be difficult to do on tomorrow. But it's Hearts play Dinamo Minsk on Thursday night, and I think it's Bebop Boop asks, would you say Minsk are one of the weaker teams in the Conference League? Yes, because they were in a pot that was lower than Lone Hearts, so definitely one of the weaker teams in the Conference League. It's be interesting because they've played. They're already 20 games into their league season. I admit I've not had much chance to watch them too much or find out too much about them. I know you had a wee look into them when the draw got made, but that's what I'm hoping to find out. We're going to the press conference tomorrow, 6:30 local time, 3:30 back in Scotland. So hopefully find out a wee bit more about them.
Yeah, there's lots of information. I mean, I could go back and have a look and see what I wrote, but it's for the Belarusian team. For the Belarusian league and looking at their football there, wasn't finding any clips. It was all just numbers. It was all just lists of results and things like that. So really, all the other teams, you can have some sort of educated guess at what you're kind of getting yourself into and that kind of thing, or you can watch some games or clips or things like that. This league is very difficult.
Or find an expert from that country, which is really difficult to find.
I was just about to say. Yeah, you can't even find anybody else that's going to talk about it. So really don't know what we're getting ourselves in for. I would say putting form to the side and looking at what I can tell by the strength of the respective strength of the leagues and the teams, I think we're better player for player than them. But how that translates on the night in a neutral venue when we're out of form, I don't know. I really don't know. I'd like to think that we would go for it, though. I don't think that's just hot air from Liam Fox. I do think he is trying to... I do think he's trying to say the right things. I mean, why wouldn't he? But I do think there's substance in what he's saying, and that Hearts shouldn't go into games like this and sit in and think a draw's okay. I think we can devise a game plan to get at them and create again like we did at the weekend. Yeah,
it's a game that Hearts should be looking, and even with the form we're in, it's a game that Hearts should be looking and viewing as a win, especially with the feeling that this is a tournament we can actually do something in. And when I say do something in, I mean potentially get out of the league phase into the knockout stage, even the knockout playoff. To do that, you need to win. I think you need to win on Thursday night because, as we kind of talked about, Dinamo Minsk are one of the weaker teams in our one of the weaker teams that we will play. So
Yeah.
they're the team you target 3 points from. So yes, Thursday it's a nice break from domestic football, but the pressure should still be there. The pressure, like this isn't a game you just see, if we do well and great, blah blah blah. This is a game you should view as like, okay, we need to win this one, because again, coming back on 4,000 kilometres, coming back with a win to take to Aberdeen, to take to Pittodrie, would be massive. So when it kind of fit on two sides, how important this game is. First, in terms of the desire to hopefully get through into the knockout stage, but also just again build on that momentum from that last minute goal to get 3 points, to gain some confidence to take to Pittodrie, and finally, hopefully, someone beat Aberdeen, because I'm fed up with they winning every single game.
I thought Dundee were going to do it, I have to say. I thought it was going to come to there, but no. It's not going to get any easier from here. You could make an argument that the team that I can't stop calling Petrofac at home would be an easier game, because I just don't know how the neutral venue plays into all this. Okay, that might take away their home advantage, but we're having to travel to Asia to play a football match. I don't know how that affects us. So yeah, I really don't know. It's a really difficult one to call, but I totally agree that if we want to do something in this competition, then we have to be winning this game. I think, and before people think maybe we are getting ahead of ourselves thinking we can win 2 matches from 6, but you could potentially qualify with 6 or 7 points. Yes. They're basically doing what they do with every competition now, in that they're bloating it so that you have hundreds of games just to get rid of a few teams, and then you have a big knockout phase.
Yeah, exactly. And if that helps Hearts get a few more games in Europe, fine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it got Scotland to tournaments, so
yeah. But in terms, I do feel sorry for fans, because we kind of come on to talk about Baku just now. We arrived on Monday evening, and so this is kind of this is the first full day here, but it is a very, very cool place, like a really, really cool place. It's really, really lively, cheap, really like kind of cheap. I don't know if it's as cheap as Pilsen, but it's certainly cheaper than Edinburgh, that's for sure. And the weather's great. It's a really like nice city where it's got the old part of it, but also there's so much money that's clearly been invested in here.
So I was about to say that you can tell that by the sporting events that have taken place there over the last 5-6 plus years. I think going back 6 years now, was it the European Games or something like that were held there? And then they've had one of the European finals were there in more recent years. But tell me, Joe, what's the accommodation like?
Yeah, thanks for asking. I just seen James' message. Are you staying near the team hotel, in the team's hotel? James, I can confirm I'm staying nowhere near, or I'm definitely not staying in the team's hotel, because I'm staying in a hotel that so we got here on I'm staying in the same hotel as Barry from Even News, and we got here on Monday evening, and the hotel didn't show up so we booked it via booking.com. The company did anyway.
There's your first mistake.
And yeah, it didn't show up on Google Maps, and then we turned up to this, so just a door open, walked up a flight of stairs, and there was just this guy there sitting with his phone, and basically saying that we couldn't check in because we hadn't booked it ourselves on booking.com, and then he then asked us to pay in cash, so he frog marched us to the nearest ATM to pay in cash. We got our cases, and then he walked us to a completely different hotel, which has a proper reception. Got into this, so then managed to get into the room. I have no hot water for a shower. My shower door. There's only half of a shower door, so I can't even have a cold shower because everything comes out. There's no, the toilet doesn't flush, and the door's been kicked in definitely at least once, because there is now a plank of wood that's been hammered in to allow it to lock. So I've had to, last night, had to push a table up against it to ensure that if someone was wanting to break in, they couldn't, or at least they would give me a wee bit of time to wake up and react, because there's a table blocking the door. It is. I was going to describe it as a shithole, but that is being unfair on shitholes. It's been an experience.
I'm guessing it was bought on the company credit card, and that's what he's talking about. You didn't buy it yourself.
It was booked,
no.
So I had to pay for it. I had to pay cash for it when we arrived, but it was booked by the company.
Oh, so you guys had booked but not paid? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Before you went over, right? Okay,
but,
I get you now. Right.
But when I
was wondering why you were handing over cash if you had already paid. I'm just hearing all this for the first time, by the way, like all the viewers and listeners. So I'm not just like acting here. This is the first I've heard this.
So it was very much a case of I am spending as little time in that hotel room as possible. So that's why I came down to Starbucks, because I think it's nicer, and it's not as remarkable. It's not as loud as well. So yeah, it's pretty dodgy, and you go onto the hotel on booking.com and you look at the reviews, and all the reviews are brilliant, but they're all on from the same day. So interesting. Now I'm going to have so thankfully Barry's in a different room, but he's got hot water, so I'm going to have to use his shower
and his toilet.
Yeah. Oh man, it's been amusing, but that's everything else aside from that is incredible, and I do feel it's a shame, because Hearts have not really done anything. Hearts fans have not done anything to be kind of punished for it. I know it's like UEFA sanctions, but
yeah, it is unfortunate, because you're basically just being denied a third of the potential away trips. Yeah, it is. It's really unfair.
And it's the only time I would imagine most Hearts fans would want to come to
Asia,
Azerbaijan, or because it's not the easiest place to get, it's not the cheapest place to get to, and it's a fair bit away. It's like further east than Baghdad. So, but no, aside from that, everything other than the accommodation has been really good so far.
Yeah. See, I mean, it seems unfair to be. I mean, apparently it's because there was not many venues that could host all 3 matches, but still, it seems a bit unfair to send a team from Europe to Asia in a European competition. That's a neutral venue. I don't know. It just seems that does seem a bit unfair. Not just on the fact that fans can't go, but just the impact that it has on the team and the players. It's just, I mean, Belarus it's really far away as well. So if it was in Belarus, it would still be a similar like ball ache. I think Azerbaijan's further still, but it does seem to be unfair on Hearts as a team to make them go even further. Because that team isn't allowed to. But then again, a football team's getting punished because of political decisions as well. So the whole thing's unfair.
It's bonkers. It's bonkers. But so the plans are, so Hearts will arrive tonight. So as we speak, they're flying across, and the team. I think the team are staying, because the game's not played in Baku. I think the team are staying nearer the city that it's getting played in. I don't know for sure, but I think that's the case. They will train in the stadium tomorrow night after the press conference tomorrow night, which will be at. So it'll be interesting, because that's the next task, is to find out how to get to the stadium and back. Because again, taxis are an interesting situation as well. So we'll find out. But we will have everything from the press conferences tomorrow on heartstandard.co.uk and stuff from the game as well, ahead of this game, and then Aberdeen on Sunday. So we'll be back at some point to discuss something, the happenings around Hearts, and aside from that, we'll have all the content going up on the website. Unless there's anything else you've got to add, Craig, I will finish it there.
No, I think that's us. Enjoy the rest of your trip.
Yeah, I will. I'll try my best, as just try and stay safe, and try and stay clean as well, which is becoming more difficult than I was hoping it was going to be. But there we go. But yeah, we'll finish it there. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening, for subscribing, contributing, etc., etc. It is very much appreciated. Again, because of the schedule and the time difference, can't say for certain when we'll be back, but we'll be back at some point this week to discuss pre or post match of Dinamo Minsk. But yeah, until then, goodbye.